Welcome back to Freezing Anime Review Part 9. This time I'm discussing the pretty much the fifth and most recent arc of the manga, which is 12th Nova Clash, which is also the arc of the series. Yeah, this arc is freaking long. I managed to get through it pretty quickly because I was reading online last night. This arc is roughly 36 chapters. Takes up chapters 117 and 122. Yes, it continues right where the last arc left off. We have basically you have the Valkyries. Yeah, basically a joint exercise session that involves them fighting a Nova that kind of turns into a real life Nova, and another Nova shows up. Basically, a very slimmed down, not the giant sized version that's been seen frequently. This one acts really weird. Like, how weird does it act? Well, it goes with one of the Pandoras during all the action, picks her up by the arm, and then proceeds to grab her like this and rip off the front of her outfit, and then she proceeds to put her finger in her groin. I know that sounds gross, the way I described it, but that's what happened. And she did this for a little while, and somehow this turned this woman into a Nova. Yep. And her friend Charles, this is everybody that they should save her, continue to turn it back because what happened with Milia, but instead she commits suicide. Yep. Who this Nova is, I don't know. It's just they don't really say who Nova is, but they just so clear. In the case of Satellizer, does she get possessed like she did in the last two clashes? Yes. Yes, she does. Does she try to get her fellow Pandoras when she gets possessed? No, she doesn't go after them. She ends up nearly stabbing Katsuma in the frickin' chest, and somehow stabbing him wakes her up out of possession, and he does something that he's never done in the series before. Does he touch her breast? Nope. He kisses her. Like a quick peck in the lips. And she, of course, basically starts trying to help him. And then she somehow meets... Now, in the anime, she got a chance to meet Katsuma's sister via being head what happened during the 11th Nova Clash. This one is the first time she actually has a chance to meet her. And from what I can tell anyways, her sister is very close in the relation between the two of them. And Katsuma can kind of see her too, and his wound gets healed. And that's that. Yep, it's still progressing the relationship. Rena, of course, also gets attacked by the female Nova. I mean, and of course, she basically gets hung up by her foot. Like this, she humps it down. Does her skirt go up? No. Surprisingly, it doesn't. And does she do the same thing did this Nova do the same thing to the Roxanne by stripping her? Nope, she doesn't. You think she would, but nope, she doesn't. Not at all. And then all of a sudden, a bunch of other Pandoras show up. These are the legendary Pandoras. Yep. Also, what other thing happens in this arc is that Clifton shows up. Now you're probably thinking, wait, didn't Clifton die during the 11th Clash? Yes, she did. She's basically there as a ghost, talking to her former VP and her best friend. Basically chastising her for her coward and cold personality. And eventually gets all of basically being cold. And of course, well, the Nova is defeated by the three legendary Pandoras. Yep. One of whom happens to be Katsuma's Aunt Cassandra. Yep. Which when she walks up to him, he doesn't recognize her initially. And then she hugs him by shoving his face in her chest. It's like, this warmth is so familiar. And then she just stares at Satellizer Arena. Yeah, this is more explained later. This actually is. He doesn't initially recognize this is actually her aunt. And then the arc ends with Katsuma's grandfather, Gregory Ari, showing up and explain that there's more. Explain who these ladies are. These are the legendary Pandoras, and there's more still to come. Yeah, for this particular clash, this is probably by far of the three that I've seen overall in the series. This is by far the weirdest one. For one thing, there's not a lot of damage done in this particular arc. There's a lot of Pandora deaths, mind you. Oh yes, Roxanne dies. There's no Pandora dies by having her skull crushed. Yeah, somehow basically skull crush while having her head completely disappear from her body. Like, oh my gosh. Wow. If this arc was adapted into the anime, because it has 32 episodes, it'd probably take up If they do what they did with adapting like 4 chapters per episode, this would take up 8 episodes. Yes, because how freaking long this is. Will they include in the stuff I mentioned? Well, one, they might not, unless, of course, they decide to do a reverse angle of it by showing her butt instead of basically her front area. Yeah, who knows if they would show that. But in the case of the anime, a lot of the other arcs, they kept a lot of stuff in. I mean, in the case of Siblings arc, they really toned that one down, which I appreciated that because that was way too dark of an arc. Oh my gosh. I would think that the anime really would tone it down. They did. They did tone it down, which I don't think it actually hurt the actual arc itself because this arc was very important to the manga. And the anime did a pretty good job with it. The only thing I didn't like about it is they changed it chronologically of when the events of the arc took place because the arc took place after the 10th Nova Clash in the manga. In the anime, it took place after the introduction of the E-Pandoras. This is something I think was kind of dumb on the part of the animators. And happened where at the end of that arc where they had to go back because of what's going to happen next with the E-Pandora Rebellion. That's probably the way of basically saying, oh yeah, we gotta go here because we accidentally skipped over this arc, or basically I'm not sure what the reason it was, but in the case of 12th Nova Clash, it was something that was kind of expected to happen. Now, aside from the fact that it has two major things in common with the previous Nova Clash, namely there's an artificial Nova this time instead of like an actual Nova, though the dummy Nova acts like the actual one, and the other one is basically something that's happened in all 3 Clash so far. Salazar getting possessed and trying to kill. Well, she is trying to harm a fellow Pandoras this time. Oh no, this time was Katsuma, which yes, that part I actually like. I didn't mind the fact that they actually had to do the whole thing of her being possessed. That's a recurring trope. They had to do it again for the 3rd time in a row for these clashes, but at least that she did something different. She attacked Katsuma this time while being possessed, not try to attack her own fellow Pandoras, as she did in the last 2 times this happened. Do I think this arc is good? It's interesting to say the least, but it gets a little more interesting when I discuss the Buster's arc. Yeah, for basically a Nova Clash, this is more like a training exercise that involves fake Novas that somehow turn into actual Novas. I mean, it doesn't feel anything like the way it did for the 10th Nova Clash at all. No. It felt like was it a retread of the last arc? Kinda, but this was expected to happen. Somewhat, anyways. Yeah, but at least that, well, Katsuma's grandfather is not as stupid and pighead like Mark Stevens is. Oh my gosh, yeah, he's not as stupid. Even he realized. Now, the thing is, the Valkyries' power is they imitate Pandora's. They don't, basically are not artificially created to be the next generation of Pandoras, like it was with E-Pandora. No, it's nothing like that at all. And these women are basically volunteers for the program. Unlike the other program where girls are forced at the age of 11. Yes. Of course, this clash does prove that the Valkyries do work. Unlike the E-Pandoras, which don't. Yep, but not much else to say about this particular arc. It does have a lot of setup for the very next arc of the series. I'm looking forward to basically reading it and then reviewing it. Now, in the case of where they basically collect this particular book, this arc, they collected it, from what I can tell, about partway into book 17. Yeah, it's collected basically from book 17, and it stops like 2 chapters into book. This is volume 21. Yeah, it covers roughly about 3 full books, and most of one book, and like partway into another book. Yeah, that's how weirdly they collected this particular manga. Mm-hmm. But yes, this arc is over 3 left. Come on. There's Busters, 13 Flash, and X Revenant. That's it. Has I reading Busters arc? No. But some of the stuff for this now, what does some of this arc basically has up to 13 No Clash? I think it probably will, but it does progress to Series 4, which would be quite nice. Though I would love to see basically a conversation between Satellizer and Katsuma's aunt, Cassandra. That would be interesting. Okay, so that's it for this particular review. I still have a few more videos I'm going to do today. One, of course, be Naruto, because I'm just about finished up with the Search for Tsunade arc. I've got about 2 episodes left to go for that one. Case closed is going to happen today. And let's see, what did I want? Oh yeah, and probably their Naruto review. I'd say about 3 more videos expecting today. 4 if I get the next arc done today. If not, we'll expect it tomorrow with the other stuff. Okay? So, until you see the next video. Bye.